Hey, small law firm owners, you want to scale and take your law firm to the next level, but you're doing five things every day that's really getting in the way of you doing that. So, I'm going to share what those five things are and give you a solution for how to get them off your plate. I'm Alan Rodriguez. I'm the founder of Law Innovation Agency 1400, and I've been helping the nation's leading law firms and legal tech companies grow and scale their businesses for over 2 decades. Okay, so you want to grow your law firm, you want to take it next level, you want to create that law firm of your dreams, but you're stuck running and managing a law firm. And when you think about it, there's lots of things that you're doing on a daily basis that really take up your time. And when you consider if you're the type of law firm that sells time, like the billable hour, then it really becomes clear what this work is actually costing you. Let me show you a page from the Clio Legal Trends 2022 report that shows hourly rates across the country for a given practice area. When you look at your state and you compare the prevailing hourly rate with a non billable task or function that you're doing in your law firm, then it becomes even clearer that you really should find a way to outsource the following things. So let's talk about what those things are. So, number one, administrative tasks. So, obviously somebody's got to answer the phone, somebody's got to respond to emails, schedule appointments. All of that takes up a lot of time and energy. But that's really something that, like in today's world, could be handled either by virtual assistants, by software automation, like automated calendar scheduling, automated conflict checkers, right? Like in CRMs, there's lots of tools out there that can solve this. There's lots of call centers that specialize in dealing with this for an attorney. And I know you're thinking like, yeah, but some of those services are pretty expensive, Alan. When you think like anywhere from 10 to 25 bucks an hour compared to the $300 an hour that it's costing you to actually do the work, you'll be saving yourself time, money, and getting rid of stuff that you probably don't like to do anyhow. So always kind of think about these in terms of what it costs you to fulfill it. Because for every hour you spend on this task, is one less hour that you get to spend on business development and producing a billable work, right? So the second thing is accounting and bookkeeping, right? So finances are key to every business. I see this all the time. Lawyers like doing work and then sending an invoice 45 days later to the client to get paid, right? That's blowing your cash flow, right? You should be putting that money to work more quickly. Biweekly billing, tracking your time with effective tools, and then outsourcing the actual accounting and bookkeeping to somebody who really kind of understands the language of finance. The way you, as a business leader, as a law firm owner, should be thinking about this is your accountant or bookkeeper, whether they're in-house or outsourced. And by the way, when I first launched my business, I had outsourced my bookkeeping for about 200 bucks a month. And it was very effective. And they got my P&L in order all the time. Like I always had documents ready to go, financial documents ready to go. But any case, you know, it's the accountant's job to provide you with the financial information that you need to make more informed decisions that have a big positive impact on your firm. Unless you're CPA before you went to law school, like you're going to struggle with this. I struggle with this. And the way, business leaders do it is they outsource to professionals that speak this language. And what we want to know is, are our KPIs headed in the right direction? Is our AR being managed? That sort of thing. And we're really kind of delegating this. Accounting is also the way some lawyers get in trouble, right? Like messing up their trust accounting, their IOLTA accounts. So I mean, this skill is like something that you should clearly outsource. When I first did it, I probably bought myself another 10 hours a week of time by doing this. So number three, marketing and business development. Maybe a little less so on the business development, but certainly on the marketing side. I think a lot of law firms kind of see like these lawyers that are exceptional at marketing, right? They're the face of these campaigns and that sort of thing. It takes a while to get there. And you really have to kind of know how to do that. And it's a big time commitment. I think in the early days, it's something you probably want to outsource to somebody who really kind of knows, where your ideal audiences exist. I do think as a business owner, it is our responsibility to make sure that we're always marketing and doing appropriate business development activities like networking, reaching out to contacts, building referral systems, and doing all sorts of things related to keeping our sales pipelines filled. But I would say, early on, like, do you really want to bust your head spending 20 hours learning how to launch great email campaigns, right? Or retargeting campaigns or learning about SEO? Yeah, I think it's helpful to be aware of how those things work so you can monitor and track the marketing agency that you've outsourced this to. But I think you're going to save yourself a lot of time by hiring the right agency, paying them to get the marketing campaign up and running that you need, and then learning from that, right? And then if you decide to take that in-house, hey, fine, so be it. But now they've shortcut your education and given you a system, hopefully if you hired the right agency, given you a system that can really be effective for you, right? So, outsource that marketing. The business development side, it's a little harder to outsource that. But for example, if thought leadership, right, like public speaking is a good channel for you to build your brand, share your knowledge, meet people that may not be aware of the services you offer, then you could create a speaker pitch deck and you could have, an assistant, a virtual assistant, or, somebody of that type send this out to all the conferences where there's a call for speakers, right? So, I would consider that kind of a business development activity that is part marketing activity, but that could be outsourced. Now, you yourself have to attend the networking events, have to make sure that you're making calls, touching base with people who've done business with you prior. It can be good sources of business for you. Sure, but, a virtual assistant can help with there too, right? Like, you can outsource that and say, hey, I want you to go through my database, line up appointments for me using my automated calendar. I prefer Thursday mornings at 9, whatever, right? That sort of thing, and get them to kind of fulfill on that for you, right? So marketing and business development is another thing that lawyers are spending tons of time on, but could spend a little less, increase their capacity for more fulfillment. All right, number 4. Technology issues, right? And I think this one's actually pretty well solved. I mean, most attorneys are outsourcing the creation of emails, setting up of computers, SSL certificates, making sure that your website, is all kind of handled through an IT company. So for the most part, if you're still kind of administering your own like Gmail and setting up like 2-factor authentications for, new staff members or contractors or any of that stuff. No, there's plenty of companies that do this for low cost, couple $100 maybe a month, right? And in fact, all of these services, most people offer on a fractional basis. So, some low cost subscription pay for a given scope of work on a monthly basis, right? So outsource those technology issues, get a good technology stack designer to help you figure out what technology would benefit you the most in your law firm, and then prioritize your acquisition of those technologies and, use that same person to deploy them for you over time when you have budget and when that priority becomes relevant for you. Number 5, human resources and staffing, right? In professional services, people is everything. And that's really hard to learn how to become an effective manager. And then as a lawyer, you're also the producer, right? You're also the fulfillment. You're the product themselves. So wearing both of those hats, it's always hard for that person to say, hey, it's impossible for me to outsource this because I'm the best at this sort of thing. That's where professional managers, human resources, those kind of people, they can really help you overcome those challenges, right? Like, by helping you develop standard operating procedures, develop your own management style. I have a close friend who is an HR consultant. She's, pretty high up the totem pole now at this point in her career, but like there's lots of companies that just use her for advice in the same way that lots of small businesses might use a business attorney for advice when they need it, right? It's not a full-time occupation hiring a lawyer. Like these small businesses aren't big enough to hire in-house counsel yet. So they go to a business lawyer and maybe they're on a fractional, like a general counsel relationship with them, paying a subscription, or maybe they're just paying them when they need the advice. When it comes to human resources and staffing, this is really something that you should outsource. Another quick example of that is I have a friend who's a doctor, he's a surgeon, and he runs his own private practice. And much like a lawyer, he's the producer, right? He's the product. And when we were talking last, he was talking about how these personalities are starting to create conflict in the office, amongst different coworkers. So what he did is he hired a fractional HR person. They came in to mediate these issues, establish some better communication protocols, and life is great. According to him, it was like the best investment that he's made in his business. So you have to take care of your people because at the end of the day, the person that's answering the phone, the person that's responding to an email, right? They're a representation of your brand, your brand promise, your values, right? That sort of thing. So you want to make sure that you set those people up for success. And I find having a third party is often very helpful. So those are the 5 things that you're doing on a daily basis that's drawing you away from the stuff that makes you money. And again, if you think that like, hey, I'm too small, I'm a startup, I can't really do this, I'm telling you, you're wrong, right? Because when you do it, it's $300 an hour. And if you can find the $10 to $25 an hour for these roles and inspire those people and use them on a fractional basis, now you're really focusing on those activities that really are going to help you to go next level. So follow me for more tips or visit 1400.com if you'd love to learn more. See you online soon.